Let's see here. One moment here. There we go. Welcome to the Heavenly Treasury broadcast, where we help believers achieve God's financial abundance for your life. I'm your host, Ron Turba, author of the upcoming Heavenly Treasury series on biblical finance, here today to give you another great piece of content that's going to help you in your life today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. So I titled this, Why Don't People Grow? And I sort of want to get back to how sort of small towns in America were birthed. So how many of you live in a small town? Okay. I know I certainly do. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is how many of you who live in a small town know how that town was birthed? In terms of, at some point it was just rubble. But somebody came in and eventually more people came in. All right, most small towns in this country were birthed simply because of an economic engine of some sort. It could be an oil boom, could be gold rush, whatever it is. Let's just take a small town in Oklahoma, for example. Most of those were birthed out of an oil boom. Somebody found oil. Oil means a lot of money. Okay, once you get the oil, you need to be able to store it. You need to be able to ship it. All of those things. That requires resources. That means people are coming into your town and everything along those lines. Okay, so that's sort of how towns are birthed. Now, in modern America, a lot of small towns are sort of on the decline. I shouldn't say sort of. A lot of them really are on the decline, and a lot of them are just completely just rubble. There's nothing there. It's no different than when it was founded 3, 4, maybe 500 years ago, whenever that was. Okay? So the point I'm trying to bring up is this. If you're in a small town that's sort of on the decline, at some point if you're going down, at some point there was a peak. Okay, whatever that peak was, I'm not going to get here and describe why that is. A lot of people have made their discussions, made their opinions about that. I certainly have mine as well. That's not really for discussion here. That could be, again, whole can of worms. 6 to 8 hours about why small town America is not the way it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 years ago. Okay, that's not what we're going to discuss today. My point is this. If the people in that small town, and I live in one, and I love it here. I absolutely love it. I hope the culture and the people, I hope it remains the same, because that's one of the reasons why we like living here. But let's say for the moment that you are in a small town. You will see people who still are there, and this town is not the quality it was the way it used to be. A lot of them will go back to that heyday and sort of try and live in that moment. How great it was in 1978. How great it was that you were the high school quarterback in 1982 and you led your team to a district championship. Not even a state championship, but a district championship. Again, great achievements. Don't get me wrong. I have my achievements in sports as well. They are not, I won a national championship. That's me right there. Right there. That's with me and my dad, my senior year of college. I made the football team. For me, that was the achievement because I never played football before. Outside of Pee Wee when I was 8 or 10. Outside of that, never played it before in my life. But it was a crowning achievement because I walked into the coach's office and said, I want to play the game. I've never played the game before. The only people I've met on your team so far are a couple of guys who were drunk at a party. And I just met them a couple of times. I said, well, all right, I think I'll just walk in and see what I can do. Coach gave me a shot, and I'll be honest, I barely made it. Barely made it. Now, some of you are in a place where you're kind of hanging on a thread, whatever that is. Could be a sports team, could be a business, whatever that is. I know what that feels like. It is. It's every single day. You literally have to wake up, and if you're not performing at 120%, you're gone. You're gone. So that's what we sort of have to do in those areas. But the reason I'm bringing this up is this. What has happened since 1978 or 1982? Since that crowning achievement of your town or your life? What has happened since? That's the question we're asking today, and why people don't grow from that. The why am I saying this? Because what I have personally found, especially in the marketplace from a biblical perspective, is this. At least from the people that I interact with, the clientele that I interact with, if you don't have an opportunity where your personal growth leads to more dollars, most people will not grow. They won't. So if you're in a company right now and you have a job and you know the only way for you to get another position that's better paying in that company is to work 5 or 10 years, you're going to be less likely to grow because it's going to feel stagnant. And what I've found about human nature is this. Most people want to grow. It's human nature to want to increase. God's first command to Noah was to increase. God's command to Adam and Eve, increase. Go forth and multiply. God's commandment to Abraham, you will have descendants as numerous as the sand and the seashores. That means increase. And I know that's referring to sort of family members, but it's also recurring to financial abundance as well. Because remember, Abraham was beyond rich. If Abraham was alive today, his wealth would be north of just about anybody in America. Why? He has 318 trained servants working for him. 318. That's a lot of people. That's for him personally. So how many people do you have working for you? I know I personally don't have 318. On the way to, but not today. If you don't, okay, Abraham was very rich. He's very wealthy. He multiplied, okay? Maybe he didn't have 15 kids or 12 kids or 12 sons like the way his grandson Jacob did, but he still went forth and did the multiplication that the Lord wanted him to do. So in my opinion, a lot of people really stop that growth, and it's really frustrating to me because I want to see people succeed. I want to see you succeed. Not starting tomorrow or next week, starting today. And that's why I'm coming on here today, because I want you to understand that if you don't have a vehicle where your personal growth and development can lead to multiplication and increase, particularly financially, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. So that's really one of the things that I want to be able to speak on is that. Now, for some of you, if you've never held a position before or anything like that, you can't make a sports team, you can't hold a grade in a class, and now you have an employment position, a job. Well, some of you really need to understand that there are things that you need to learn there today, and that can help you grow and not just be able to keep what you have, but to also get an opportunity where you can increase even more. So that's why I do that. Okay. So so the question that most people probably ask when it comes to personal growth is this. When they hear somebody like, say, a John Maxwell, I talk about him all the time. I actually just saw him last month in person at an event. It was beyond phenomenal. Just being able to listen to him in person for 20 to 30 minutes and obviously in a big crowd of people. But when you hear somebody like that, it makes you feel good, first of all. But second of all, he gives you ways to improve your life. Improve your life. Now, a lot of people will listen to somebody like him if you have a job and you say, well, I like that. I want to improve too. And then you start doing it and doing it and doing it. But guess what? That growth that you're experiencing is not translating to increase in your life. A lot of the times because you don't have a vehicle for it to produce the fruit. That's the important thing that I want to get across to you today. And that's why it's so vital for you to be a laborer in the marketplace. For that specific reason, because I want you to be able to achieve all that you can, and I want you to have the fruit of everything that you're doing to grow, because most people around you are not growing. So you want to be in a place where everybody's just stagnant, they're happy being stagnant, and you want to grow? Good luck with that. That's not going to happen. You're going to have some sort of avenue where people are around you to be able to grow with you or see your growth and see the fruit that comes when you do grow. Do you understand that? That's why it's so vitally important that you, as quickly as possible, become a laborer in the marketplace. At least a laborer, hopefully a master, but a laborer first, because you need to be able to have no cap on your income. And as a laborer, yes, you have the work of your hands. You can charge what you believe you can get in the marketplace. Because when you're a laborer, you determine your value. If you're an employee, your boss determines your value. That's the difference. And there's no ceiling or cap on the amount of income that you can generate. Because remember this. This may seem very elementary, but a lot of people don't understand this. When you run a business, there's no limit to the amount of income that business can generate. Yeah, there may be a limit on the market itself, but in terms of businesses, look, if you run an ice cream franchise right now and you want to become a nationally known franchise, you want to be the next Dairy Queen, let's say. Now, let's say for the moment, okay, there is a limit to the amount of ice cream that you can sort of produce, right? Because there's only so much ice cream that people want to eat. Now, you can obviously have some good marketing and advertisement to increase America's desire for ice cream, but there is still a limit. For me, I know I'm not an ideal Dairy Queen consumer, so to speak. We like it. They're great treats. I am not eating that every day. I'm barely eating that once a week for a treat. It's just the way it is. So if you're going to, but the reality is this, Dairy Queen itself could branch out into other places. I'm not here to tell Dairy Queen. I'm not a consultant for Dairy Queen or anything like that. But if you think about that for a second, that's really where the growth can come from, is owning a business or owning a franchise. Or maybe now you run a bunch of Dairy Queens. Now maybe you want to get into the burger business. Now I want to own a bunch of Burger Kings. Then I want to get into the taco business. I want to own some Taco Bells or some Moe's or some Chipotle's or something like that. You can see how you can sort of branch out into other areas, and there's no limit on the amount of money that you can really make in this. Okay? Take Amazon, for instance. Amazon started as an online bookstore. How many of you buy only books on Amazon? Nobody. Very, very few people that I ever meet will say, you know what, I'm only using Amazon just for books. And that's nothing else. I don't buy batteries. I don't buy computers. I don't buy paper towels. I buy nothing except books on Amazon because that's what Jeff Bezos wanted to do when he started it. No, you buy everything. Why? Because Amazon sees that there's other markets and they can expand into other markets and take demand. That's why. Okay? So that's the reason for that. Now, putting Jeff Bezos and his endeavors aside today, put the businessman Jeff Bezos, okay? The businessman himself, if he was the exact same person as he was in the early 90s when he started his organization, he would not be to where it is today. He wouldn't. He had to grow along the way, personally and professionally. He did. So just think about that for a second. How was he able to maintain that? Because his income followed his personal growth. And that yours will as well, assuming that you have a vehicle, a method of earning and generating income that will help facilitate that. That's what I want to get you to focus on today. Is that if you do not have a vehicle that where your personal growth can lead to more income, it's not going to generate. It's not. You have to be able to have that. And so that doesn't really come at a job. Yes, you could get promoted at a job, but there's a limit to the amount of promotions. The owner of the company is not going to call you in and say, you know what, I want you to run the company, and I'm just going to give it to you. Now, I have seen something like that happen. One of my business coaches, his name is Josh Tolley. He wrote right there, Evangelpreneur. He's come up with a number of different books. He tells a story in his coaching seminars and his financial workshops that he bought a birthing clinic for $1. Okay, why? A number of different reasons and a lot of skills that Josh has developed over the years to make that happen. Most importantly, being a faithful believer. That's the most important thing. But there are circumstances like that. Let's be honest. It's not going to happen for most people. God is going to put you in a different place for you to be able to generate that income that has no limit on the vehicle. So if you are in a job right now and you say, well, I want to be able to grow personally. I want to become better. I want to be all that God called me to be. You're going to have an economic vehicle to be able to make that happen. Now, if you're in full-time ministry, that is your vehicle. There's no limit on the amount of money that your ministry can bring in. No limit. Zero. There's no boss over you that says you can only bring in this much. If you bring in $2 million, you're okay. But if you bring $2 million and $1, nope, capped. That's it. No, there's no limit to the amount of money that a ministry can generate or bring in. I wouldn't say generate because their their money is that comes in has to be given from other people. Okay, it's gifts, tithes, offerings, alms, you name it. But putting that aside, there's no limit on the amount. So if you are in ministry, you definitely need to grow personally beyond spiritually as well. You can wake up every single day seeing 10 angels with flaming swords who give you your direction for the day. But guess what? If you're still an immature person, your ministry is only going to stay at one level. It is. So you have to grow personally as well, and your income will also follow that. Your ministry's income will also follow that. But for those of you who are in business, or in the marketplace and not in full-time ministry, you're going to have a vehicle that can generate that for you. Now, there's a lot that goes into that as well. But that's something that was on my mind when I was listening to John Maxwell a couple of weeks ago, is that as I was in the opportunity and the business adventure that my wife and I are in, that I was noticing that, well, when I get better, my income is going to follow because my closing ratio will increase, my prospecting will increase, the amount of business functions that God can trust me in will increase. And because I'm a faithful tither, he'll continue opening the windows of heaven for me to go on to that next step. Okay? A lot of those things are going to follow and have followed and will continue to follow. With that, the personal growth that my wife and I continue to have to be on in order to generate what we need to generate, as well as help you, the believer, achieve your financial abundance. So that's something that I am on right now that's going to help me help you even better. So that's the other thing that you really want to key in on is if you're going to continue a personal growth journey and get better, you're going to have to find a vehicle to be able to have that income generation come with it. There's going to have to be no limit on whatever economic opportunity that the Lord is going to put in front of you. Why? Because he wants you to get the benefit of your personal growth. He doesn't want a heathen boss getting that benefit. He wants you to get that benefit, right? That's what he wants to do. He wants to get you the benefit beyond, of course, his kingdom. Because if you're a believer and you follow the Lord, guess what? Your benefit is his kingdom's benefit. So there you go. That's what I want to bring you today with this very short content today. And I'm just really grateful to everybody who's sending me messages, everybody who's kind of saying, okay, where's the book and all that stuff. Believe me, when I know, you'll know. I'm very close to finalizing it right now. I'm about halfway through my very last read through, and it'll be out very, very soon. I'm really excited to be able to bring this to you because even I am getting revelations as I've read the first volume that's coming out. Oh my goodness, probably 2-3 dozen times. I'm still getting revelations that the Lord is giving me from that. Okay, and that's why I want to bring this out to you so you can get those same revelations from the Lord, whatever endeavor that you're on and whatever you're going through that the Lord is going to help you with. So that's what I want to tell you today, and that if you are right now in a job and you don't want to be there and you want to think, okay, what specifically can I do today to help me get out of that? I have a solution for you. There's a 3-minute video on my YouTube channel. Link is in the description below, and you can go there. It's called, I think it's called What to Do If You Have a Job. Okay. Let me see if I can just quickly pull this up and see if I can, because I really want to give you this this video here. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm telling you, I really enjoy producing this content. It's really fun, and if you've never done anything like this, you're gonna really enjoy it yourself. And I can't wait to watch your video get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of views. Okay. Let me see. I know it isn't. Yeah, there's a video titled Stuck in Your Job. Here's how God can help. So if you're in a job right now and you don't want to be there, that short 3-minute clip has things for you to do right now today that will help the Lord put an economic opportunity in front of you where there is no limit, and you can grow personally, grow spiritually, and have the financial abundance and the wherewithal beyond that to be able to continue to increase and walk in the financial abundance that God has called you to walk in. So that's what I've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Take care, everybody.